from Kansas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Secretary of State of Kansas, I believe that it is incredibly important to add this to our platform. This, if you're just reading it, has to do with proof of citizenship at the time of voter registration, which is an additional protection beyond photo ID laws, which we now have in almost a dozen states, true, robust photo ID laws. It is a significant form of fraud. At present, only 2 states have proof of citizenship at the time of registration. Those are Kansas and Georgia, in effect, where their laws are in effect. 2 other states had it, Arizona and Alabama. Arizona's was recently struck down by the Ninth Circuit, which can give you an idea that it was probably a good thing. And Alabama has it in its laws, but is awaiting pre-clearance from the Obama Justice Department, which can tell you that if this president stays in office, they'll have a very long wait. So I think it's important that the Republican Party stand firmly behind the principle that we verify citizenship. There are a lot of other states that would like to move in this direction, and this platform will give them a boost in doing so.
If anybody does not have it, it's currently being handed out. It's also on the screen.
Well, Mr. Kobach, let me just make sure. The way I read your amendment, you're not.
It's not striking anything.
You're adding this language. You're not necessarily calling for adoption by the states. You're simply saying that state laws that do this are a protection. Yeah. Stating more of a principle, but you're not calling for any particular action, I don't think.
Well, just like the sentence that precedes it, which expresses support for state laws that require photo ID, this expresses support for state laws that require proof of citizenship at the time of registration.
Okay.
Second.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that that amendment be adopted. Discussion? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hall.
Yes, Tamara Hall from Montana. I would like to indulge you for 1 second to, well, actually 60 seconds.
39 to be exact.
Thank you, sir. I know. I was in that committee. And I would like to share with you that there are certain issues that are of the heart, certain issues of the head, and some that are policy, some that are on the boots working. This is one of the most important things we will discuss today, in my opinion. I think we need to give it time, as tired as we all are. Voter integrity in America is at risk. It is at risk. It is poison to our entire system. I think we have to acknowledge and be bold that people on the progressive side are willing to cheat in ways we could never before fathom. And I think it is time that we respect every state that is struggling with this issue and help them address this, specifically through these, whatever is proposed, we need to understand that. I have a mentally disabled daughter, and a community organizer group took my daughter without our permission, without our knowledge. She cannot read, write, count, tell time, and for cookies and milk, they had her vote. You have no idea the extreme these people will go to steal an election. We need to stand for this, fight for this, and be bold for this.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Ms. Suma from North Carolina.
Mary Suma from North Carolina. I would ask Mr. Kobach if he would accept an amendment to begin that paragraph or begin that sentence with "we support state laws that require."
I would accept that friendly amendment.
As a member of the largest county's Board of Elections in my state, voter integrity is paramount to our freedom to vote. So anything that we can do to assure that people who are voting are actually the people they say they are, and they are U.S. citizens, we need to do everything. In a state that our Democrat governor vetoed our voter ID.
Okay. Ms. Suma has made a second-degree amendment to the primary amendment. Is there a second to her amendment? Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, hold on. So that amendment to the original amendment from Mr. Kobach has been moved and seconded. Now discussion on that.
Point of order, or actually,
yes.
Point of information. I think she means to say we also have to add the word "to." If you make it "we support," to after the word registration, at the time of voter registration, to protect our election system. It changes the structure of the sentence, so you need the word "to" inserted.
Okay, so that's your amendment, Ms. Suma?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So It's on the screen now. Ms. Suma's amendment to the primary amendment, Mr. Kobach, has been moved and properly seconded. Now discussion on the amendment. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Clarence Mingo from Columbus, Ohio. I think the language we're discussing here, be it the First Amendment or the Second, is interesting. But I think it is very important and critical that this language not be used for strategic political purposes. Our effort in this regard must be sincere, and that's to prevent voter fraud. Any other message or any other suggestion that the party or this platform is attempting to suppress votes for political gain, I don't think will help our cause much. That's certainly not the intent of this body, but I do think it's terrifically important that we demonstrate sincerity in this regard and that we highlight the fact that this is about voter fraud and not political gain.
Okay. The amendment, hold on, just the amendment, the substitute amendment or the second degree amendment is largely clarifying, to put it in a posture of we support as opposed to simply a statement of principle. So why don't we, to get the main issue in front of us, why don't we act on this amendment of Ms. Suma? Is there any other discussion on that largely technical amendment? All right, hearing none, all in favor of that second degree amendment say aye. Aye. All opposed? The amendment is agreed to. Now we're back to the amended amendment of Mr. Kobach on the issue of voter registration. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, Chris Devaney,
Yes,
Chris
Mr.
Devaney,
Devaney.
Tennessee. I'd just like to echo what the gentleman from Ohio said, and also the Democrats have wrongly asserted that we have political purposes in mind on this, and all we're trying to do is to protect voter integrity. And in our state, we actually had an election overturned because of people voting in the names of the deceased. And so we understand that this is a problem, and I urge this committee to pass anything that protects voter integrity.
Okay, let me see some others. Mr. Lucas from West Virginia.
Mr. Chairman, just to simply echo a lot of the statements, I'd like to applaud Mr. Kobach for offering this. As a state where this month alone we have 3 elected Democrat officials being charged in voter fraud from the primary election that we held 2 years ago. We know this is a problem, and preserving voter integrity cannot be underestimated, as anything less than safe and fair elections undermines democracy. But I thank them for introducing this.
Okay. Other discussion. Ms. Dayton from Utah. Okay, Ms. Dayton has moved that the question be called, or is there a second? Second. All right, it's moved and seconded that the question be called. All in favor of calling the question to end debate say aye. Aye. All opposed? Question is called. Now the question is on the amendment offered by Mr. Kobach. All in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. All opposed, no? No. The amendment is adopted.